Hey, how are things? So, today we will be talking about investing, business, money, and basically, this is a series that I will be starting, which is investing in. And I'm gonna try to kind of like do a little bit of a deep dive, let's say, but like not super deep, not super dive. We will be talking about investing in NVIDIA, a PowerPoint chill without too much fuss. So, it's gonna be like something really easy, super chill, not too complicated. This is just gonna be something that, kind of like talking from a friend to friend. And yeah, that's gonna be the videos. So, first of all, starting with the table of contents, we will be talking about the introduction, the company, stats, news, my personal opinion, even if you didn't ask for it, but I'm gonna give it anyway. And finally, the conclusion. First of all, I just wanted to say that this is not financial advice, so everything that we will be talking about in this video is just my personal opinion and kind of my view that I kind of want to share. But like, this should not be interpreted as financial advice, and also this is not sponsored, even if I will be talking about let's say Yahoo Finance, Google Finance, or like my broker. This is not sponsored by any chance from them, even though if by any chance Trade Republic wants to sponsor me, here I am. As always, like in the other videos, if you saw them, we're just a chill bunch of people, like just chill guy making videos for chill people to look and to kind of have like a nice moment, I would say, kinda. So I have to say that this type of content or video is greatly inspired, almost completely inspired by Charlie Chang. And yeah, basically I highly suggest you to check his YouTube channel because he makes a lot of videos and humongous quality. So let's say that I will be taking his type of kind of like type of videos, a little bit copy paste, but not too much. Hopefully, who knows, please Charlie, don't sue me. Please not. And yeah, definitely we will be talking about stocks. The main purpose of those videos is to kind of have a broad and first initial approach to these stocks. So a broad vision, this should be like the gentle push, the nudge, as Richard Teller would say, to kind of like do a little bit of more research to study or to actually go to a proper financial advisor. First, having a little bit of an overview, NVIDIA was founded in 1993 by Jensen Huang, Chris Malachowski, and Curtis Prime. Hope I'm not butchering their names, and they have almost 36,000 employees. So the thing is that this is the CEO, Jensen Huang. And I have to say, the very first image, amazing jacket, amazing. The second image, amazing. He's basically a bro. And yeah, he's quite an interesting figure because he has been leading NVIDIA to amazing levels that we will be seeing like really soon. And now talking a little bit about the key products and services about NVIDIA. So first of all, I think that all of us, we know NVIDIA for the graphics cards, because basically if you have a PC, it's almost 90%, 95% maybe, I don't know, that NVIDIA is the graphic card, unless you don't have AMD or like just Intel, everything Intel. But let's say that NVIDIA is quite humongous in terms of like making graphic cards, and this is both for gaming but also for professional visualization. Then we have the data centers solution in terms of having AI-focused GPUs to support machine learning and deep learning applications. And then we have some other type of products and services that are not so well known about. Like if I tell people, oh yeah, NVIDIA is working on automotive platforms as well, they'll be like, huh? What do you mean? What do you mean? So yeah, basically they work in those type of sectors as well, and they're actually building things. So those are going to be the main things in terms of talking a little bit about the company. Now let's look at the stats, and these statistics is retrieved from Yahoo Finance, and we can see the graph from 5 days ago. The moment that I'm recording, the price is around like $114. We can see that it was a little bit of a dip of almost 12%. On the other hand, if we look at the price of NVIDIA 1 year ago, we can see that there was an increase of almost 38%. So the price had a little bit of a fluctuation, let's say from a level that was around like almost $80. It had a quite a big increase, then to kind of like stabilize to the levels of like almost 120, and then to get to today's price of 114. But I want also to look a little bit at all the picture, because it's quite important to see the evolution of the company during all the time. And we can see that basically, yeah, NVIDIA had quite a big increase. Definitely. Oh, I'm not even gonna like read the number. It's humongous. It's way too big. So 260,000%. Bro, what does it mean? It's way too humongous. So yeah, basically the price of the shares were almost like some few cents, and they had a humongous increase. And the increase is especially given by the new AI industry that is popping up a lot, since NVIDIA is one of the main key players in terms of like graphic cards for actually make the AI models, and especially like the large language models work. So yeah, NVIDIA is a key player that has received a lot of benefits from this humongous AI rush, kinda. So yeah, this is really important to notice. Then I'm really sorry, I hope you're not gonna be scared by the wall of text, but since I will be talking a little bit about like those important statistics, I kind of wanted to have a little bit of description. So in my opinion, you could maybe stop the video and read a little bit, because definitely I'm gonna read them as well, but like you could stop the video and kind of like read them with your own time and things like that. So yeah, don't be afraid of the wall of text, because it's not going to take us a lot to tackle this this slide, kind of. So first of all, looking at the market capitalization, what is market capitalization? It's basically given by the price of the shares multiplied by numbers of the shares. We can see that the complexive value of the market cap, the complexive value is $3 trillion. Trillions. That's a lot. That's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. So this basically helps, these metrics help investors to assess a company's size and investment risk. So NVIDIA is quite big. Then we look at PE ratio, price to earnings. And what is price to earnings share? It measures a company's current share price relative to its earnings per share. What are those? We're gonna see them really soon. But basically, PE ratio is something that indicates how much investors are willing to pay for each dollar of earnings. In this case, we have a PE ratio of 38.80, which means that basically it's quite high. This means that either investors expect high returns from like their investment, either the company is properly valued, but if by any chance the value is low, this means that either the company is undervalued or actually is not performing well. So this is quite like the type of indicator that it's not as black and white to interpret, but it's kind of like giving us a view. Then we have earnings per share, EPS, which shows how much a company's profit allocated to each outstanding share of common stock. So basically, let's say that this kind of indicates the profitability, let's say, kind of. And we see that the profitability is 2.94, which is a really good number. Then we have the dividend yield, which basically means by every share that a person owns, they're going to be receiving a payment for owning this share, which is in this case 0.04%, which is not that much, meaning that either NVIDIA is not giving that much of a dividend because maybe they want to keep the money that they make as profit to reinvest once again into the company. There are other companies who give like a large sum of dividends, so this kind of like becomes in terms of like what are kind of like the preferences of the investors, if they want income focus investment, or let's say kind of something that it's like more growing oriented. Then looking at the other stats, I swear this is kind of like the last big slide. By looking at the profitability, we have the profit margin, which measures how much of every dollar in revenue it's retained as profit. So of $100 made by NVIDIA, 55.85 is basically profit, which means that NVIDIA is extremely profitable. It's really good at making money. So yeah, this is actually a really good, let's say, kind of like indicator. And another really important one to look is return on equity, which is basically assess the company's ability to generate profits from shareholders' equity. Means basically, if I give 100, those 100 how are gonna be used to make money. And if they're being used really, really well, then ROI is going to be high. And we can see that the return on equity on NVIDIA is 119%. So they kind of have quite a big return on equity. And finally, looking just a little bit of the income statement, we can see that the revenue is really, really high, almost getting to 130 billions. So we are talking about a company that is selling a lot. It's making a lot of movements, a lot of money kind of. Analyst recommendation, we can see that from December until March, basically almost all of them considered NVIDIA to be a buy or a strong buy, especially because in their opinion, the current price of NVIDIA, which is 114 at the moment, is actually below average, below the expectation, which should be around like 130 of the minimum and an expected maximum of 220. The analyst price target is an average of 173. Even though analysts, they have their own suggestions and things like that, it's never written in the stone that what they say is going to be what it's going to happen. We have the news. And first of all, from CNBC, we see that basically NVIDIA shares fall 9% on tariff fears. Basically, the Trump administration, by, let's say, kind of imposing a lot of tariffs to almost everyone, it's kind of having some repercussions as well, because like at the end of the day, the tariffs are gonna finally, like at the end of like all the transactions, are gonna be covered by the buyer, by the household, let's say. So let's say that it's still something that is going to have an impact that might actually lower or actually kind of slow down the activity or the selling activity of a lot of industries. So yeah, that's kind of like something a little bit to kind of keep track on. Then we have some other news in terms of what are happening. Even though, let's say, he's imposing tariffs, the Trump administration is announcing 100 billion investment in US chip manufacturing, and this could lead to, let's say, kind of like a little bit of instability in the trading power between like other chip making factories or like other chip manufacturing countries such as Taiwan. So yeah, this is like a situation where both, let's say, kind of like internally is good, but also externally could be good or bad. That's kind of like the delicate, like really sensitive equilibrium of things. Then we have NVIDIA Drive, where we have news in terms of the fact that NVIDIA is working towards the automotive industry as well. Then NVIDIA launches AI foundational models for RTX AI PCs. So we are having something more kind of like for all of us in terms of computing power, because of course that NVIDIA makes different types of GPUs, both for kind of like the retail and like us consumers, but for especially, let's say, kind of like AI companies. And then finally, we have Morgan Stanley raises NVIDIA price target. They say that basically with all the expectation from the AI industry, NVIDIA should or might or could have an even higher price. So yeah, this is Morgan Stanley, is one of the analysts, let's say, from kind of like the financial Yahoo. So yeah, those are kind of like the main news that we have at the moment. And of course there are like many others, and it's really difficult to kind of like put them all together. But the thing is that there's a lot of things to talk about, and definitely there's a lot of things attached to each other. So there are news sectors. If one person say a thing, this could like have an impact on the market and so on. So yeah. Then looking a little bit at my personal opinion, even if you didn't ask for it, I think that NVIDIA is kind of like made to stay. It's humongous, it's so big, and basically every computer has an RTX or has like something that is from the competitor, which is AMD, which, side note, the CEO of NVIDIA is cousin with the CEO of AMD. I don't know if it's a meme or actually a real thing. I should have checked like 100%, but like still, if it's true, amazing. Imagine the dinner parties, like, or like the winter parties, like at Christmas, when they see each other, be like, yeah, we have kind of like the most amount of power in terms of computing power. Yeah, nice, amazing. And also, yeah, they're working towards AI, the evolution of AI in terms of both deep learning and machine learning. So yeah, that's another thing to kind of keep count. So yeah, NVIDIA is quite a big player in terms of that. Then of course, another important thing is that both S&P 500 but also the Nasdaq, they have NVIDIA as the second largest investment. So if kind of like the best and slash most performing, well performing ETFs have kind of like such a big exposure to NVIDIA, it means that maybe things are going quite well with this company. Kinda. And then finally, getting my conclusion. Is it a stonks or a not stonks? Well, I have to say that in my opinion, NVIDIA is definitely a big stonks, especially by seeing the evolution in the price, even though it didn't pass like 20 or 30 years. So it was humongous to see this huge evolution. And today's age, they are growing a lot because they have their hands in some really important sectors. So AI, computing, and so on. So it's something that it's definitely gonna stay and definitely gonna evolve, so on. So yeah, and I remember that for a moment, it was actually the most let's say the number one position in the S&P 500 for a little bit. Then Apple took its place once again. But yeah, definitely, it's a company that is really interesting. It's really big. It's really, let's say, good. And in my opinion, like what I will do is maybe either to kind of like invest in the shares, like to kind of buy the stocks, to, in my opinion, not financial advice, but just talking about myself, or either to kind of like have the exposure in the S&P 500 or like in a Nasdaq, something like that, or something similar, to kind of have like be more exposed to the market than just have a little bit just a stock, because you know, you never know what things could happen. So yeah, definitely. But I want to say thank you so much for watching the video. I appreciate the fact that you watch until the end. And yeah, this is kind of like the first video of the series of investing in. And I have many others stocks that I want to talk about. If by any chance you have an idea ready, you can leave a comment down below. And yeah, I think I'm gonna make the video. So thank you once again, and I'm gonna see you at the next one.